Now we're going to move on to our program tonight. I want to bring up our moderator tonight, which is Mr. Kurt Harden. Kurt is the past chairman of the Licking County Chamber of Commerce and sits on the Government Affairs Committee. So let's give a warm welcome to Kurt Harden.
Good evening. Thank you, Sherry. Let me go over the rules of tonight's event. This is not a debate, first of all. Each candidate is going to have a minute and a half for their opening remarks to introduce themselves to you. And then they will have a minute and a half for closing remarks. Each candidate is also going to have a minute and a half to answer the questions that we asked them this evening. Jennifer McDonald from the Licking County Chamber of Commerce here is out front. And she'll be our official timekeeper for this evening. She'll hold up a 1 minute and a 30-second warning sign. I ask the candidates if you would please honor those and wrap up when Jennifer holds the stop sign up at the end. Okay? The order of the comments and the questions were determined earlier with a coin toss and then in the Pataska race with a sort of a straw drawing that we had. So our first panel is the candidates for the Newark Treasurer. We have with us this evening Mr. Jeff Hall, who is the Republican candidate for Treasurer in the city of Newark, Mr. Cary Rader, who is the Democratic candidate. By order determined earlier, Mr. Rader is going to speak first and do his introductions. And so, Mr. Rader, I'll ask you to introduce yourself to the crowd. You have 90 seconds.
Well, is that working?
The microphone on?
Not working. There it goes. Hello, my name is Cary Rader. I'm running for treasurer of the city of Newark. I'm a math professor by occupation and computer science teacher. I retired just recently, last December, and so I have time and the skills to do this job. My wife and I moved to Newark in 1981, and I became a professor for Ohio State University at Newark. My issues that I'm running on are saving the city money through greater efficiency in the government. The duties of the treasurer are overseeing the city income tax department and keeping track of the money that comes into the city. We do not do any legislation or set policy. It's just an administrative job. And so the only opportunity that I have to change the government is to try to make the tax office more efficient and try to save money that way. You'll find that all of my issues are exactly that, saving money. So that's your tax money. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rader. Now we'll have Jeff Hall. You have 90 seconds to introduce yourself.
Okay. Yep, this is on, I think. As Kurt said, my name is Jeff Hall. I am the Republican candidate for Newark City Treasurer. I was born and raised in Newark, Ohio. Graduated from Newark High School, worked at my father's shoe store in downtown Newark. And then in the 80s, I relocated to Florida as my career took me. Spent several years. As recent as 2002 here, we decided to move back into this area. My wife and I have a 12-year-old son and just love the area for raising children a little bit better than South Florida. I have a bachelor's degree in accounting. I also have a master's degree in accounting. As Mr. Rader said, the Treasurer's Office has really two functions. Number one, they audit tax returns. That's the income side of the city of Newark. And they also invest that money. That's the Treasury side. It's actually the auditor that pays the bills and writes the checks, kind of contrary to the private sector out there. The best way to run as the treasurer is to run an efficient office. Not only do we get the money invested wisely and quicker, we get a better return on the money, and that's how we can help. How Mr. Cary also said, Mr. Rader said that we do not advocate legislation. We strictly just run the treasurer's office. The bulk of it, of course, is doing those tax returns. I'm pretty much running on my education and my experience. I've worked for a large public accounting firm in Columbus for a few years. At this point, I am self-employed, decided to come back to the area. I'm an accountant and a business consultant. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. We'll move on to the questions now. And the first question is going to go first to Mr. Hall to answer. And that is, what do you believe most qualifies you to be the treasurer for the city of Newark?
Thank you, Kurt. I'm basically running on education, experience, and involvement. The office of treasurer, the bulk of the staff does work in the tax department. I have worked in that environment. The public accounting firm that I worked for in Columbus had a staff of over 100 in one roof. January through April, I was doing 65 hours a week. Part of the reason I'm self-employed now and living in Newark. I have worked in those times and worked in the crunches of tax returns and preparing tax returns and auditing them. I believe it gives me the proper background to run that department. And also, I think it's extremely important that we motivate the staff, like I'm sure many of you business people are challenged with on a daily basis. Always motivate your staff and you get more efficiency. I have done those tax returns. We had 3,000 clients. We had corporate returns for companies, had gross annual revenues of $20 to $200 million, and large income individuals that we also did tax returns for that had large estates. So I've worked in the trenches that way. My Master's of Accounting degree, I think, relates directly. I'm not looking, this job attracted me because of my background and my educational experience and my business work experience. And I've had probably about 35 years of business management experience also. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Mr. Rader, again, what do you believe qualifies you best to be treasurer for the city of Newark? You have 90 seconds.
Of course, I do have a lot of education. I have a PhD in mathematics, a bachelor's in both physics and mathematics. I've been working with numbers all my life. As far as mathematics and computer science both involve creative problem solving. In mathematics, you very often have a problem that might take months or even years to solve, and you have to keep on working on it. The treasurer's office is antiquated. The 1990s computers and things like that, and so it really needs modernization. In particular, I want to bring e-filing to all the people in Newark. There's a pilot program of e-filing now, but that's one of the main things I want to do is bring in e-filing for everybody. As I say, creative problem solving is exactly what we need in the treasurer's office, not so much administration, because the people that are doing that, the tax administrator and the assistant treasurer, are very good people, and they are carry out the job very well the way it is, but we need to modernize. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rader. The second question will go first to Mr. Rader and then to Mr. Hall. And that is, what are the biggest challenges that you believe will face the next city treasurer, and then how will you address those? You have 90 seconds.
Well, I guess I already said something about that. It's modernization of the treasurer's office. We really need to upgrade the computers and make it more efficient. When I go out door to door, people tell me that they hate the tax forms, that they're very hard to understand, and so I would hope to simplify that. E-filing would simplify that. That's nice for taxpayers, but the main advantage is that the information comes in already digitized, so it can be rerouted to the city computers right away. That would eliminate a lot of the data entry that is the main task of people in the tax office right now. We have 10 people there right now. They also have the duty of finding tax delinquents, getting them to maybe schedule a system of tax paying that, payments that they can make, or even sometimes referring it to the prosecution. And so they have to gather the evidence. That's part of the job also. Okay.